Hi class and Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Healthcare Information System again. We discussed on the chapter 12. This is the last chapter and this is the last lecture for this subject, and we hope that you can still focus on my lecture. So chapter 12 is a discussion about the future of digital health, promise or peril. Yeah. So now we are discussing on the digital health. Yeah. From the chapter 1 until chapter 11, we talk about the healthcare information system or e-health. Yeah, telemedicine, telehealth, CDSS, clinical decision support system, artificial intelligence, and now we talk about digital health. So digital health is a very big area, and this is a next step from the healthcare information system, yeah, or health information system. So when we talk about digital health is all about of electronics that we can computerize in every single of processes in healthcare services or in healthcare field. Okay, but wait a minute, yeah, before we continue with the discussion. So this is a learning objective of this chapter. So we expect that you are able to discuss on the nature of the digital health, yeah, enabled value. Yeah. We don't talk about the application only. Yeah? When you become a strategist, yeah, healthcare ICT strategist, so you need to wrap up all the knowledge from the manual to the e-health or internet healthcare, and then you think about the digital health that can be give a value added to the healthcare provider, thus will provide a contribution to the people, yeah, especially people who suffered with the health problems. And then we expect that from this chapter you are able to discuss the challenges in implementing digital health. So you cannot run away from the challenge, barriers, reluctance, resistance of introducing the new things in the population or in the field of subject matter. Yeah. Not only in the healthcare field, but the challenge of implementing the new technology in other fields as well. For example, oil and gas, education, yeah, government, community, yeah. What else? There are a lot of business nowadays can be digitalized. Yeah. So during this new normal of COVID-19, everything is digital. So although the elderly people need to use a smartphone, yeah, to register the vaccines, yeah, COVID-19 vaccine, and of course this will disrupt the way how people live in this world currently. And then we expect that you're able to gain insight benefit in implementing digital health. You can discuss, and you as a software engineer is innovator. So you are people who become an agent to the innovator, to be innovation in our life. So we need the innovator to improve the life of people in Malaysia by utilizing the technology, especially in ICT. And then lastly, we expect that you're able to understand the step to improve the digital health project value realization. So not only you able to code the program, so you as an agent, to to propose, to influence the people surround you, the people live in the rural area. For example, maybe you live in kampong, in village, which is very weird with the IT. So you become an agent to explain to them, and become an agent to innovate something that can be value to the community and also the people in the Malaysia or in Yemen, in Bangladesh, around the world. So, but this chapter today we discuss on the digitalization in healthcare. So, what is the future of the digital health? So, this is question, promise or peril. So, before we talk about the promise or peril of the digital health, so we need to give some overview to you regarding the disruptive nature of technology change nowadays. Okay, we always heard about the digital transformation and industry or IR 4.0 in the newspaper, and in the speech of our Prime Minister, the politician, academician, and sometimes the Ketua Kampung also talk about IR 4.0. Even they don't understand what is 4.0, but the word IR 4.0 in their lips. Nevertheless, that whether they understand or not understand the term of IR 4.0 or digital transformation, but they, the people around the world is in this IR 4.0. For example, you are now surrounded with the wearable computing. You are using the mobile devices. Sometimes some of the people keep change their mobile phone every 3 months. When Apple produce a new version of iPhone, so it's like people like crazy go to the outlet, try to get the first person hold the iPhone. So this is crazy, I call it. So another thing is cloud data, for example. You realize or not realize, you cannot see the CD-ROM drive in the computer, the new computer, right? So even the thumb drive also is very less used by people around, and I cannot see, very rare people bring the CD-ROM, bring the what else, the bring the external drive like this one. So there are a lot of things that we are using new technology, new digital devices which is very virtual nowadays. So as you can see here, the digital transformation in Industry 4.0. So this is the development of the knowledge in which the line between the physical, digital, and biological spheres are being blurred. Yeah. So, like I said just now, politician, academia. So they talk about AI, they talk about Internet of Things, they talk about big data and so on. Although some of them not understood. So this thing is not run away from the medical things. Yeah. So when you talk about the private robot, yeah, a robot now we have a very advanced robot technology where the robot become a girlfriend of the people or boyfriend of the people. Yeah. So this is not happen in our country. Yeah. It's happened in the US, for example. Okay. So you can see that the digital disruption. Yeah. Disruption means a change. The way or the common way of people live in the world. Yeah. So the change that occurs when the new digital technologies and business model affect the value proposition of existing goods and services. So digital disruption means the transformation that is caused by emerging digital technologies and business model. It impacts the value of existing product and services offered in the industry, and it disrupts the current market and causes the need for re-evaluation. Yeah. So when digital is burst in the world, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic era now, I call it era. We already one year in this normal new normal. Yeah. So it will disrupt the market, current market, and also disrupt the way how people deal with their business. You can see that Netflix no more what do you call it, Maxis. I don't remember why I cannot my brain become freeze sometimes. So Netflix now is a new channel for getting the movie. Yeah. So you can subscribe very cheap, and then you can watch the movie according to your free time. So we have a Grab now. Yeah. Grab healing services, and then Shopee, HelloDog, and e-wallet. So even you go to the pasar malam, yeah, you can buy the food using e-wallet. Yeah. Last time you have to prepare the e-cash. Yeah, you have to pay. You have to prepare the cash. Yeah, prepare the cash to pay the food that you bought. Yeah. So nowadays is digital. You use e-wallet. You go to tolls. You want to pay the tolls. Yeah. So you use Touch and Go. Yeah. What else? When you go to shopping, so you can use debit card or credit card. So everything is changed. Yeah. So this is called digital disruption. Even you go to when you want to order food Panda, for example, so you can pay by e-wallet or transfer the money to the bank. So this is called disruption. So means that the way you live is different, the way you do a business is different, and the way you the businessman or the seller So how they get the customer is different. Nowadays, the famous way how to get the customer is through digital video marketing, right? Digital marketing through the video marketing. You use what they call it head talk. They call it head talk. So you use a video or your handphones, then you talk, and then you promote your products. Okay, so this is things that we call it disrupt. Yeah? So 9 fact about digital native. So there are a lot of things that change the way you live in the world. And we see that 20% meet the clinical standard for addiction to the internet. So this is also the disruption. 20% meet the clinical standard for addiction to the internet. So means that people, this is in Malaysia data. So 20% of the population of Malaysia is addicted to the internet. I can ask all of you, if you go to somewhere, first thing that you will ask, is there any Wi-Fi, right? Without Wi-Fi, you cannot live in this world. And there are bought by traditional lectures in the classroom. So this is happen in the young generation, right? 90% of children and adults play video game wherever you go. So the people is like very focused on your life. Yeah? So actually they play the game. Okay. I remember that when I was in South Korea, in I think again, so I cannot remember why, I don't know. In South Korea, yeah, what is the main city of the South Korea? So never mind. See, I got the brain freeze. Yeah. Okay. In South Korea, when we in the subway, yeah, in the subway, there are trains. So there are a lot of Korean people use a public transport. Yeah. So they don't bother about the people. So they are focused on their thing. So actually they watch a movie, they chatting and so on. So this is a disruption. Okay? The facts that we need to accept, and we need to find the resolution. So they may benefit from online educational games. Multitasking may decrease brain efficiency by as much as 50%. Yeah. So when you do or you work with the digital, in the digital era, there are multitasking need to be done, right? By the time I give you a lecture now, so a message come from anywhere. Message come to a WhatsApp, come to my handphones, and ask me to answer everything. So we need to realize that this is a fact that digital native or digital era in our community. So the large scale change in society, this is a thing that growing, and some of the thing is declining. You need to get this information to make yourself competitive in getting the job. Yeah. So disrupt the way the skill to be acquired. Now growing is analytical thinking and innovation, active learning, creativity, technology, critical thinking and analysis, complex problem solving, leadership and social influence, yeah, emotional intelligence, reasoning, system analysis and evaluation. So this is a growing things that you need to take care, and then you need to know in order for you to compete in the market while getting the job. Yeah. So this is the right side is a declining manual dexterity, memory, verbal, auditory and spatial abilities, management of financial, technology, installation, reading, writing, management, quality, coordination, visual, technology. So this is changed by the growing thing at the left side. So so this is affect our life, yeah, affect our life, and we need to get ready on this. So the skill companies need the most in 2020, the top 5 soft skills: creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. So so this is a skill that need in IR 4.0. So you need to have a soft skill like persuasion. You need to persuade, especially when you run your business. You need to have a capability to influence your customer, and then you have to have a creativity how to promote your product, and then how creative are you to create the your networking, collaborate, and then how you can change yourself to the changes happen. That is adaptability. And then emotional intelligence means you are more competitive. You are not demotivated. You are still motivated. Okay. So top 10 hard skill is a blockchain, cloud computing, analytical reasoning, artificial intelligence, UX design, user interface design, business analysis, sales, scientific computing, and video production. So I think nowadays a very top market is a video production. Now a lot of company to market their product, so they use a short video to give a touch, as emotion touch. So this is very important to get the customer to the product. Okay, now we go to the healthcare, research trend in healthcare. So this is a world in flat. World is flat moment in medicine, acknowledging that the access to data through digital health in a game changer. So this is American College of Oncology professor said that our world is flat moment in medicine. So health expert also said that many declare that digital health in the future of healthcare because it carries the promise of more efficient care, better patient-physician engagement and partnership, and better health and health outcome. So based on the previous slide that I discussed with you on the IR 4.0 and transformation in digital era. So we talk about digital health. So it promises a lot of good things, and more promise compared to the earlier. So 8 factors that will disrupt the landscape of healthcare in 2020 and beyond. First is the value-based care, value-based care to social determinant of health analytic platform. Okay, so what does it mean? Is a value-based care to social determinant is that digital health can help or can provide a mass benefit, mass mass of benefit, especially provide the huge access to the healthcare services. So some of the country, they are focused on certain problematic. Let's say nowadays in US, for example, there are a lot of people die because of cardiovascular problems, heart attack, for example. So they focus on that problem and use the digital thing to provide a platform where the community can communicate to the health center or healthcare provider in order to treat their problem. Okay. So another things that another factor that disrupt the landscape of healthcare is AI explode across the healthcare, especially in medical diagnostic. So like I discussed with you in chapter 11, so AI is very important nowadays in order to provide the clinical decision support, in order to help the healthcare provider in making a decision, fast decision on certain patient problem. So AI become a right tool nowadays to help the doctor or healthcare provider in provide the right treatment. So artificial intelligence can be developed using software technology, and this will change the way how the healthcare services can be provided to the patient. So maybe you don't need to go to the hospital. You put your demographic information through the website. There are a lot of questions need to be answered, and then suddenly after you press the button, so the computer process all your data, and then they will provide the information regarding your health status and what you need to do, and then which doctor that you have to see. Another things that another factor, third factor that disrupt the healthcare landscape is the telemedicine and telehealth technology. So with the affordable of internet and the availability of internet across the world, for example, in Malaysia now the broadband is go to the village. Now I have a mobile. I install the Unified mobile broadband. So very easy. You just plug in your handphone and then you share the Wi-Fi, then you can get at least 15 or 20 megabit per second of internet. So telehealth and telemedicine will gain mainstream adoption in healthcare services. So nowadays you see that worldwide is attacked by the COVID-19. So a lot of things change. How you want to get the healthcare services is through handphone, through WhatsApp. That is a part of the telemedicine process. So you don't need to go to the hospital. You just do a video conference with the selected hospital or selected doctor. So there are many things that or services that can be telemedicine, telehealth. So this need your contribution. You need to think about what services that can be telemedicine Yeah, can be telehealth or can be e-health. So so with the internet technology, internet become cheap now, and then this will be boost the telemedicine mainstream telemedicine services in our population, in our community. The fourth factor that disrupt the affect the digital health is the integrated HRS or EHR. So you have been practice how to develop the HRS, right, and generate the EHR, and this sorry, this effort is actually promote the seamless healthcare services solution. So if every healthcare provider have their own EHR or EMR system, so this will promote the seamless healthcare services across the country, across the world. Okay? So let's say if Malaysia is full with the implementation of EHR, so when we visit Yaman, for example, and Yaman also have the HRS, yeah. So HRS Malaysia and HRS Yaman can talk together. So let's say I visit the Yaman and I got a problem with my health, so the doctor in Yaman can browse my medical record history seamlessly, borderlessly, and very a few seconds they can get the information. So another factor is a blockchain, data analytics. Sorry. So the use of data analytics by hospital specialty, such as precision medicine. Yeah. So this will disrupt. Yeah, will provide promise good a good or future medical treatment. So from the data analytic, from the data that we collect from the EMR or EHR, so we can predict, and we can get the information regarding a certain problem. For example, COVID-19. Yeah. So from the data the MOH or hospital collect from the affected patient, so this data will be analyzed, and then now we know that the different variant exists, yeah, which is very dangerous nowadays. Yeah, variants, COVID-19 variant from the South Africa and India is already exists in Malaysia. So this is a function of data analytics. So without the EHR or without EMR, we cannot do a data analytic, because data analytic require data mining. Yeah, and this is an area that very important nowadays, because we cannot work like firefighting. Yeah? So we need to work. We need to proactive. Yeah, cannot reactive. So from the data analytic application, so we can plan a proactive action regarding on the virus, for example, regarding on the new what they call it, lifestyle problem, like heart problem, diabetic. So if we collect that data of the patient, and then we can predict something, how to prevent this diabetic or heart problem increase in our population. So another factor that will disrupt the landscape of healthcare is a blockchain application in healthcare. So this part of the security lah. I don't, from my opinion, I think this is not very important, but more or less is important to protect the privacy and confidentiality of the patient data. Okay, but for time being, for me, is not too critical. Okay, another factor is a voice application of healthcare. So voice technology is very become matured now. Yeah. So this voice application can help the doctor by using their hand to plug in the data using mouse. So this will help the process of capturing the clinical finding easily. But nowadays you see that the doctor is busy with the typing the information of patient record. But in future, I think once the voice application is improved and can embed easily in the healthcare application, so it will become what they call it, de facto in healthcare. So this is a very promising technology, and I hope that the voice technology can become a good technology and very easy to use. But nowadays I got this research in voice while the doctor talk with the patient, but the result is not very good because some of the point is not captured accordingly. So another thing is another factors that affect the landscape of the healthcare is innovative private insurance as healthcare player industry. So they will move to more retailization for healthcare industry. Yeah. So as you can see that all the country is struggle with the budget. Yeah. As you can see nowadays, not only Malaysia affect their COVID-19, not affect to the Malaysia, then because a lot of people lost their job, a lot of industry is closed, so the economy is not good. Yeah, so you also will affect the competition to get the job is very tough now. Yeah, so you need to start. Yeah, you need to start thinking how you can make your own business. Okay. So innovative private insurance as healthcare player industry is one of the factor that change the healthcare landscape. As you know that majority of Malaysian in Malaysia, their healthcare services is actually we can say free. Free. So you just pay RM1 only. But how long that the government can give free healthcare services to the citizen? So they have to provide the process how to cut the budget. So one of the initiative is through insurance, medical insurance. So there are a lot of countries, for example, in US, in Singapore, in Canada. I think Canada still government contribute to the healthcare services, and like UK, Australia, but US, Germany, I think they already implement the private insurance. So if you got problem, if you don't have insurance, so the hospital cannot accept you, right? They cannot service you. So this will change the community, the people in a certain country to start think about the medical insurance. So once they got a new baby, so they have to subscribe the insurance, medical insurance, so that their son or daughter or their next of kin can get medical insurance, can get the or access to the healthcare services accordingly. Okay, this is what we call it factor, 8 factor that will disrupt the landscape of healthcare in 2020 and beyond. I already explained to you. First is value-based care. In next 2 or 5 years, I think Malaysia also focus on this value-based care. Yeah, they don't focus on the common problem. For example, flu, fever. This is common. So I think maybe next time, next 5 years, I think healthcare provider, a clinic, will ask you to manage your flu, manage your fever at home. Yeah, you can find by yourself. Yeah, so this is not the value-based care. The value-based care is focused on the critical problem. For example, cancer now. Yeah? Cancer. A lot of people got cancer. Some of them, majority of them is not realized that they got cancer, and they realize once they got cancer stage 4. So this is a problem that we need to penetrate. Yeah, that called value-based care. Diabetic, for example, is also contribute to the cancer. Actually, they contribute to other problem, heart problem, yeah, kidney problems, hypertension. Yeah. So this is a focus thing that need to be for each of the country actually. Yeah. But the developed country is already focused on that. Okay, artificial intelligence, telemedicine, integrated HIS. Okay, this is a project that you develop. HIS is actually one of the factors that disrupt the landscape of healthcare. Yeah, so we don't need to depend on the paper-based medical record anymore. Yeah, so by using the EHR, you can share the doctor can share the medical history of the patient when they treat the patient. Data analytics. So this is big data. It's very important. So how to get the big data? Of course, we need as much as EHR or HIS application to be implemented in all healthcare provider. Yeah. Blockchain, I don't think that this is critical. VOS application is not critical also, but is very good to have to make sure that the doctor will focus to the patient, not focus to their computer. And of course now the insurance. Yeah, I think when you ask your parents, so they also have insurance, medical insurance, example medical card and so on. So medical cost is very high. Yeah, medical involve a specialist. Of course, their cost is high. So who want to pay their salary? Because to get the specialist or consultant, title consultant, you should practice at least, I think, more than 10 years or more than 15 years of experience. Okay, so this thing actually how to answer the question promise or peril. So what is the answer, class? So the answer is the digital health in future provide a lot of promise, yeah, compared to peril. Okay, I think so we come to the summary. Digital health transform the way the healthcare services is delivered to the patient, and digital disruption transform healthcare services landscape from healthcare providers, clinician centered to person or patient centered to machine learning control using AI. So the digital health promise was worse compared to waste. So I think you can think about what kind of application that can be provided to improve the healthcare services, because the healthcare or medical is our routine. Yeah, every day we eat, we sleep, we woke up, yeah, and then sometimes we got sick, we got ill, yeah. So you can imagine, you can get the idea easily. When you visit the hospital, you can see that a lot of patients waiting. So what kind of technology, what kind of innovation that you can contribute to the healthcare field? So this is about this is all about of the digital health in the future. So you need to digitalize the process, the diagnosis process and so on, so that this technology can help life of people. A lot of people suffer now a day in COVID-19. So what kind of technology that can we offer to make sure that all people stay at home and not go out to buy things and so on? Okay, class, I think that's it for the chapter 12, and this is the last chapter of the healthcare information system subjects. So I hope you enjoy with the subject, and then the most important thing is that you get this objective of the learning. Yeah, I hope you can discuss the nature of digital health, discuss the challenge of implementing digital health, and discuss the benefit, and discuss and understand what step to improve digital health project value realization. So this chapter is very short, and the point is to promote your idea, to make that you think beyond the normal thinking. So you not only think about what they call it, a legislation system, but you can think about the big thing in the healthcare. Yeah. So the project that I given to you is the fundamental. Yeah. It's fair that if you don't understand the fundamental, how you want to go to the innovative things, innovative application, advanced application. So at least this subject is help you or give you the idea what the healthcare information system, why the ICT is important in the healthcare field or medical field. Actually, to enable you to know that, to give you knowledge. So the healthcare is require a technology, especially on the ICT, to improve their services, to save the people's life. Okay, so I think with that we end this this lecture. See you later. If you have any question, then please write in the comment. If you like this video, you press a like and share this video to other friends in other university. Okay, see you later. Hope you enjoy this subject. Goodbye. Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much.